Okay, so here we go. All right, so a few videos back, you saw that there was no glass in this 4450, and there was a lot of debate or debacle. People saying, "Oh no, that's a four-post ROPS. It's not a air-conditioned tractor." Well, my 4450 has always been air-conditioned, and when the air conditioner goes down in these tractors, nobody wants to get in them. And the other day when it was 80 some odd degrees, Timothy was sweating himself silly in there. And he's like, I just can't. He says, I'm sweating the seat wet, because he takes water with him all the time. I mean, he's always drinking water, and, he's a big guy, so he's always warm. So anyways, I told him, just park the damn thing. I said, go ahead and grab the 7530 with the Peckway on it. Excuse me, yawning. Grab the 7530 with the Peckway on it and go ahead and use that. And, of course, that doesn't have GPS guidance in it, so he gets a little bit lost. Well, I went to using the big 90-foot, 1,100-gallon sprayer, Hardy sprayer, the Navigator, and he went to using the Peckway. Dad was having a little bit of trouble with the Commander sprayer, the 750-gallon, 60-foot boom sprayer, so we had a hydraulic leak on that. So I just had Dad moving hay around. I went to spraying with the big sprayer because I can cover more ground quicker, and Timothy went to running the Peckway in the 7530, which was great. It worked out just fine. And actually, I went to some of the fields where he was spreading, and I thought he had moved the GPS over to the 7530 so that he could get a spread, because it was the spread pattern. I mean, he was perfect, almost like he was following a line. So he's come a long way in agriculture and how to do things that are precise as he could without the guidance, which is always a good thing, because if you don't have guidance, if you learn without guidance and then you go to guidance, then you can still do the old way. But anyway,
I think that's a waste of time. I'm going home. They gave us this piece of pipe that's solid, and the only way you can get it into that cab is if the cab is off of the tractor. And that's the truth. I'm not taking the cab off the tractor to fix that thing. That's stupid. I mean, we could cut it and put compression fittings in.
Yeah.
But I'm not doing that unless, All right. After the great debacle last night, I could curse at Ken, right?
Who's Ken?
Ken's the guy that did it wrong.
Oh.
But I'll be okay. I'll be a nice guy to Ken. Ken's not too bad. I've had worse parts, man. Can you rest of this? Oh, what do you think? I think we're wrong. What? Okay, hold on. This is crazy shit. Because you know what? Last night, the way that we would have had to do this yesterday was we would have had to tear the entire cab off, or take the wheel and the axle stub out to get those pipes in. Because they gave us the wrong ones. Which I'm okay with. Whatever. We got the right ones now. There's no sense in complaining, right? So there we go. Alright. What was your speed? Average speed?
Average speed 75 miles an hour.
95, right?
75.
75?
75 on a 65. That's only 10 over.
If you go any slower than that, you get run over.
Yeah, that's correct.
Not incorrect. I am having a problem.
What?
Nothing.
What are you laughing at?
Nothing. Well, what do you want for lunch? You want Italian hoagie again, or you want burger?
No, I want a hamburger. Or I think about hamburger though.
Your hamburger.
Okay, yes. Anyway, so if you go back to, I had to split here. If you go back to doing things without GPS, after using GPS, from not using GPS, you're still pretty accurate on the old way. Now, if you've never used the old way, like line of sight, or even just putting a tape marker on the edge of your glass to follow a line, maybe some people don't know what I'm talking about, but yeah. Anyway, I never used the tape glass thing. A friend of mine, he's like, "Oh yeah, I had the old way of putting a piece of tape on the glass and following that line." I was like, "Well, what the hell are you talking about? I never did that. And I guess it was an old trick that people used to do, or the fertilizer companies used to do to get as accurate as possible, is they would just, measure out the line, take a piece of tape, put it on the glass so that it runs in the track of your last pass. And that will work. It works perfectly fine. Actually, it's a really good idea that I never came up with. I always just got really, really good at judging distance. And I'm pretty good at judging distance yet today. Timothy, he started out without GPS, and then I put him over to GPS, and obviously he can still do his work without GPS. Now, I was running the disc harrow the other day, and my son Joseph, he was going to run it, and he says, "Dad, I can't follow these lines. I'm either too wide or too narrow or whatever." And I says, "Well, it takes practice, Joe." He says, "Well, how do you do it?" I was like, "Well, I don't know. I just do it." He's like, "Well, what do you mean you just do it?" I says, "Well, I use the fender, and I can judge the distance between the line where the disc had been and, the distance between the front fender and the thing." I says, "I don't even have to look back." I says, "And if you do, I guarantee you I'm probably right on the mark." And he looks back, he says, "Yep, you are." I says, "Oh, it just takes practice, when you run these things over thousands of acres, you just get good at doing it. And, that works out pretty well." But anyway, I guess I'm so off topic with this thing. You guys are watching me put window AC lines in and window moldings and windows and all this stuff. The reality of this job was that if you look at the clothing that I'm wearing and Tim's wearing and even Teresa, it took like 4 or 5 days to get all the parts together and get this tractor together. What a pain in the ass. And it wasn't like we worked on it solid. It was, okay, we worked on it for half an hour, 45 minutes. Then we worked on it for another half hour, 45 minutes. Then we worked on it for another half hour to 45 minutes. And it came together. In the end, I didn't even film the final charge of Freon or R134A. I call it Freon still today. Most guys don't know what Freon is. If you're under the age of 25, you're not going to know what Freon was, because R134 came in on the scene in the early 90s, I believe. And you no longer could get Freon R12. R12 was a much colder refrigerant than R134A. At least that's what I've always been told. It does run through the lines a little differently. They used to have the little glass windows in the air dryers, the dryer, filter dryers, and you could watch this stuff bubble. And now they do have actually inline sight glasses, like on the 7810's got one. I know the 8120's got one. And the R134A just kind of, I think that one jets through. I can't remember now. I mean, I just watched it the other day. But it jets through, whereas the R134A or the R12, that would just kind of bubble up in the window. It was different. It was a different type of oil, I think, is what you would see bubbling. But anyway, as far as charging these systems up, this happened maybe a week and a half ago, and Tim has used the tractor many times since there. He says the air conditioning is ice cold. New air dryer really made a big difference. The new lines made a big difference, and he says it's freezing cold in there, and he likes that, and so does Joseph. So anyways, enjoy the rest of this video.
See, am I in focus here? I think I should be. All right. So after a trip to John Deere on a return of air conditioner lines and the refitting of air conditioning lines, which I'm going to pull you off and show you. I don't know if I did or not. I know you guys were talking about or wondering about these windows, which in a video you either seen it already or you're about to. Anyway, I had to replace these air conditioner lines, this air dryer. I've purged it, just to piss off the EPA people, and ran the new lines up. I actually put a couple of rubber hoses that I cut off and stuck in there so that they don't rub on anything. And, so that's good and clear. New rubber gaskets and everything around there. But now I'm back to this little manifold here. Now, this little manifold, it's like $80. It's ridiculous how much they want for it. And when I ordered the manifold, he asked me if there was like a nipple on it, and I said yes, there is. Well, he was referring to this and not this, and he sent me another one of these, which I have another one of these. I just don't need it right at this time. This is the high pressure side of the manifold, so this is where it pressurizes. This is the suction side or the low pressure side, and I don't need this. I've already had it on, replaced the O-rings years ago. I actually have new O-rings to put in here. I'm going to go get those before I get started. So anyways, they gave me this, and then I called him up and said, hey Sean, you gave me the wrong one. And you know, they're decent up there, very decent at Deer Country. And he overnighted me this at no charge. Obviously they reimbursed me for that one, but this one here was a no charge deal. And you know, there it goes. That's how that goes on there. So it's just 2 bolts, 2 O-rings, and then this little guy here. And I'm going to go ahead and get the O-rings, put you back up on the stand, and you can watch me replace that. Okay, so I guess I took the O-rings back, or I had Teresa take the O-rings back, so I don't have the new O-rings that John Deere sent. But I do have this handy-dandy kit of green O-rings that are designed specifically for R134A, if I can remember correctly. I should say, you know, he used to say that that's what these were for. HNRR O-ring assorted kit, and that's what these are for. So I might as well shut up and get myself where I need to be. Now, a lot of times when you go to break these lines free, like this, it strips off the aluminum. Now, I put a very small amount of refrigerant in this system here the other day just to see if it would be, you know, if it would hold air, and it did, because you can hear it still. So it held the pressure like it was supposed to, and oh my god, I can just feel these threads like screaming right now. I suppose I'm using this wrench wrong. I don't know. Everybody likes to tell me how wrong I use these wrenches, but oh, there she goes. Oh, rusty, dusty fart. Oh my god. I can hardly imagine that these threads there's going to be anything left of them. Oh, because it's getting worse. The harder I turn it, the more I turn it, the harder it's getting, the worse it's becoming. I was hoping that some of the PAG oil, or the oil that goes in there. Now I've probably got some major contaminants in here, which is really going to get you all freaked out. Okay, so good. Yep, that's what it is. Totally stripped off. Ooh, that felt in the stomach. What a nice feeling. Okay, so how do you get that stuff out, right? I mean, really. How the hell do you get that stuff out of there? Well, I got a right-angled picker, and I think that's how I'm going to end up doing it. Or I'm just going to heat it and see what happens there. I got the right one? Nope. Those are quarters. Let's see if these things are metric. I got a feeling they are. Yes, they are. So, let's try my luck with H6. Yes, it is. Alright. Now, hopefully my filter dryer collects this stuff that I'm pulling out of here. I just can't believe that it did exactly what I expected it to do. Well, actually, I shouldn't have expected anything else. Okay, so, God, I can't believe I just did that. A couple of years back, a nice fella, I think his name was Matt, and his girlfriend, for the love of God, I can't remember her name. I was barely enough to remember Matt's name, because I'm terrible with names, and he always tells me, hey, you know, my name's Matt, you know, or I think his name is Matt. Anyway, he brought me this really nice picker set from Husky. It's a Home Depot thing, and I use them quite often, believe it or not, still today. Well, today I wish I hadn't grabbed it because I just impaled myself with the damn thing. Yes, impaled. It was the dumbest freaking thing I've done in a while, but hey, ain't the first time I've done stupid things, right? You watch my videos. Oh, God. I don't even want to be anywhere near this thing. So, yeah, we got problems. I think I'm going to actually heat this up to get that aluminum to break its way through there. So, anyways, with that being said, I'm just going to shut this off while I go find my